Grylls, and this is another episode of Man vs. Wild. What we're gonna do is survive in the American wilderness, otherwise known as the Australian bush. What we've got to do is we've got to go down that hill and find some water. Okay, first step is to make sure you keep a constant supply of body temperature so you don't get overheated and pass out. We're going to go down here. Hold the camera steady, it's very hard. Maintaining a Bear Grylls accent is crucial on a survival mission such as this. Always keep a good supply of oxygen too, as it may run low. Now we're going to go down these rocks to make sure that we have somewhere to sit for the time being. Right, I'm going to jump, but I'm going to do it slowly to make sure that I don't get attacked by a wild beast. Alright. As you can see, this is a rock, and we'll be sitting there for the temporary time. Come down here so you can come speak to me. Right, I'm going to give you a look what I brought on my survival action. Right. We have a bottle of piss I've prepared earlier. We've got a subterranean battle knife, a comb in case we get messed up hair, and an onion for when we get hungry. Oh, and not to mention just a few things that you generally may have in your backpack that could come in handy, like a calculator. You may never know how many steps you'll need to do to make it to safety. And razors. Your beard may get in the way when jumping off a cliff. And headphones. Everyone goes crazy without music, so you've got to make sure you keep a constant supply. And we've got condoms to make sure if you get lucky you'll be protected against Bigfoot babies. And a sour lolly in case you get in need of some sour food. It tastes very delicious, but it's very sour, and as you can listen, it makes a very cool crackling sound.
Now you should.
As I put this back in the backpack, I want you to go down the rocks and meet me down there. Okay, you have made it down the rocks. I'm going to be coming shortly. Just wait for a second as I figure out a way down. I have spotted a way. Now, using my skills as parkour in the past episodes, I'm going to make it down to the bottom where you are. It's okay, I made it. Right. We're going to take a walk this way, even though we just made it down. This way looks pretty good. Look, we have found a decent supply of water. Although it's not drinkable, it looks pretty drinkable. As you can see, it's a yellowy colour, which is perfect for drinking. Very delicious. It'll keep me hydrated until we find some more. I'm going to walk through here, making sure I don't run into any snakes. It appears we've come to a dead end. We should turn back before we get into any trouble. sometimes you may need to have to travel for hours and then turn back because the road ends. Luckily, we didn't have to go too far today. Now, as you climb up the rocks, be careful you don't run into a spider. They can be very deadly in the bush, especially in Australia. Right, I want you to climb down, keeping the camera steady. Right, we're going to go through that part of the bush, making sure we can find some water. At times like this, it may be unsafe to go a certain path, but I'm Bear Grylls, so it's okay. We appear to have made it. That was quite a difficult path. That was quite a difficult path, but we will go even further. As you can see, it's quite clear from here, but I'm sure it will get more complicated. Got to be careful not to waste your energy when out in the bush. It is a mosquito herd. We better get out of here before we get bitten. Who knows how far we've got to travel, but we've got to stay alive. There's a lot of bugs out here and I'm not sure which way we should be going. But we're going to start with up. Careful not to breathe any insects in because it could prove very fatal. Looks like the way up to me. I have done it. You have to be very careful for snakes because they could prove fatal out in the Australian desert, known as the bush. Got to break some branches in order to make the cameraman get through. Have to be very quiet. There is a girl calling out our names. It's going to be very difficult, but we can do it. Keep an eye out on the road ahead because you could find a snake. Right, we're going to go down here and we've got to jump across. Again, there is more water, but this one is way not drinkable. I'm going to have a shot of some piss that I conjured up earlier. As piss can be a very good supply of liquid, but it only lasts you temporarily. Doesn't taste very nice, but you've got to make sure you can drink it. Okay, I can't drink it. I've got to make sure I keep moving then before I get too hydrated. Too dehydrated. There appears to be a girl calling. I don't know her name, but I'm pretty sure she's bad news. We're going to go for a walk, again through the bush, keeping an eye out for spiders and snakes. It appears we have found a meadow. We're going to have to walk through the meadow in order to survive. I'm going to start with this way. Make sure you hold the camera steady, as it will make the movie crap. I'm sure many people walk through here at all times of the day, but we're not one of them people. It turns out at a time like this, you will not need to make your own path. as many wild dogs travel through here momentarily. Where the hell are we? Careful not to touch one of these little buggers, as it could hurt. And being in pain is not what you want when you're surviving in the wild.
And dogs seem to be immune.
Lucky we've got a wild dog companion to follow us where to go. It may not be very hard for the dog, but for a human that's not used to this kind of pressure, it's very hard. This is our little track. Oh, it appears we've found some water. It doesn't look very drinkable, but I'm going to have an attempt. It appears to have a spider in it, so I cannot drink it. This is a little valley in which we call a tunnel of light.
Or darkness.
I mean of plants. Very confusable words. We're walking through here, keeping an eye out for snakes seeking shelter. We finally made it out and we found a path. Going to walk up the path and search for civilization. As you listen to that, that is ambience of the wild. Very good. Let's move on. These rocks are signs of civilization. They have clearly been organised in an unnatural function. You've got to watch out over your head in the bush, like in such areas as this, as a leaf could fall on your head and kill you. And as I go ahead making sure that the camera stays on me, then what was that? A drop of water landed on my wrist. I better drink it. That was a lizard, don't worry. It appears we've found civilization. That concludes today's episode of Man vs. Wild.